here we are 12 years later. In 2009, I can't believe it was 2009. I didn't know anything about hospice, and I had a call from a friend who wanted me to help her start up a hospice of her own. It was a great experience for me because I learned a lot about hospice. I just worked for her for a short time, but in that few months that I was working there, I really fell in love with hospice. I fell in love with the concept of being able to take care of somebody who is on the tail end of their life and to be able to support them and their family and make sure that they get to go out on their terms and be comfortable and free from pain. It's an amazing field. Everything that I learned from hospice, I learned from the amazing team that I was able to hire when we first started up. I am so grateful for everything that I've been able to learn and put into practice in creating this program that is now First Choice. Started out as a better way home, out of my home, right here in my living room, and spent a lot of time around the kitchen table going over all of those conditions of participation.
I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but I knew that the people that I was working with were, it was a good environment, and it was a homey environment given we're here at the kitchen table, like we were 12 years ago. We started small, and so, it took some time to be able to bring on the patients, and we were all our own marketer. If we were out there marketing, we were seeing patients, we were marketing at the same time and meeting with facilities and being a part of the culture that we wanted to be.
The best thing about starting when I did is I believe timing's everything. Care First had just shut down, which was another hospice in town, and I was able to gather the best of that company to come work for me. And Sherry was my number 2 employee. Can't believe you're still here after all these years, but I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
And everything I know about hospice I learned from that team. I was so amazed that there's a benefit that you earn throughout your lifetime, and when it comes time that you need hospice, you don't have to think about, gee, can I afford it, because it's already paid for. I say you don't have to pay for it. If you're on Medicare pays for hospice 100%. Some insurance companies, there is a copay or a deductible that comes into play, but we also do have a nonprofit that helps people if they're in financial need, and that's something that we created as well, and I think is a really important part of what we do as well.
The hospice benefit is a great benefit for everybody that is able to use it. The primary things that are a part of the benefit, you get the team. You get a nurse, a CNA to help with bathing, social worker, and a chaplain. We even have volunteer services to help with respite or for walking a dog.
One of the most frustrating things about watching our hospice care over the years is just seeing that patients were coming on so late in the process. I think that people feel like electing hospice or getting onto hospice is the end. It's like a death sentence. I think that's the connotation that's out there. And nothing could be further from the truth. People actually live longer on hospice. There have been many studies that have proven empirically that people live longer on hospice. They're having reduced stress because they're in a familiar environment surrounded by the people they love rather than in a sterile environment like a hospital. Hospice can be a gift to the family because you are actually choosing more days in the life. You can have a better quality of life and
More support.
Definitely more support. The families, my gosh, when my dad came onto our hospice in 2017, I could not have done that without the team. I got to be his daughter, and I got to really, I knew what hospice was about, but at the same time, I don't know that I could have done any of that without the support of this team. Yeah, you talk for a minute.
Well, I think one of the most amazing things about hospice in general, I mean, as Kara's talked about, the team that got to come in and be a part of your dad's care, provided those one-on-one moments and that caregiver availability so that you could just be a daughter. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's part of the hospice benefit, is to provide that team of people that can provide that. In addition to making sure that you had everything you need, from, attends, wipes, gloves, and providing those medications and the DME to be delivered to your home so that, they didn't have to worry about anything. They didn't have to worry about any last detail. It's part of the hospice team. We think of the details so that family can just be family.
Yeah. Hospice, for me, has really changed my life in so many ways, not just because it gave me something new to do for a living, but it really changed my perspective on life. My brother, Scott Spencer, he was kind of a name in this community because he created the Spirit of Boise Balloon Festival that has been going now for 30 years. It started out as a River Festival event, but it morphed into what it is today, which is a Labor Day event. Scott passed away on our hospice in January of 2020, which was a huge loss to not just our community, but obviously to me. Again, being able to count on the team to care for my brother and put his life, the end of his life, in the hands of the people that I trust to take care of him was such an important thing to me. And knowing that he was able to die what would normally be a pretty painful death in comfort and at peace, that was really, really powerful to me. So I'm so grateful, and I would recommend our team, our hospice, to anybody, because it is such a benefit that people don't have to pay for. It's such an amazing thing. People, when they go home, they're surrounded by all the things that they know and love and that are familiar to them, including their family. They can go out of this world surrounded by the people who love them most, free from pain, and in a place that they know and love. And I think that is one of the most powerful things that hospice brings. People who think about hospice as the end, I want people to understand that it's so much more than that. You don't have to be homebound. You don't have to be on death's door in order to access hospice. We want to have people come to us early so that we can help orchestrate how that comes about, how much time they have left. We have people who come onto hospice and go on a final trip, or they fulfill some bucket list item, and sometimes we can even help them with that. Mm-hmm. That has been an amazing part of this process as well. I love that. You've got more stories than I do about the different kinds of bucket list items that we've helped people fulfill.
Yeah, I mean, from hot air balloon rides to a butterfly release to a trip, a road trip down to California with the patient wanted to take his son down to California, and so they went on a road trip, and together with wish granters, they were able to orchestrate the gas, the rental car, the hotel stays, and just made it a great trip for them to be able to go on together for one last father-son trip.
Yeah. In fact, this reminds me of one of it was I think our first patient who was admitted to our services. He was into cutting horses, and we were planning a big event because the Cutting Horse Association has an event out at the Idaho Center every year. So we'd made arrangements to have him taken out to that event. Unfortunately, he died just within a week of that event, but we still went forward with that. We had his family there. They did the most amazing tribute to this gentleman, and it meant so much to the family. And it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me that we were able to do that, because I know that he was there in spirit.
Yeah. Another wish we had was an Asian woman who has been so used to authentic sushi, and we were able to grant her the wish of having an authentic sushi dinner. Another wish we were able to grant was a woman who wanted to go to the San Diego Zoo before she passed away. And so we were able to get a trip for her and a friend of hers who was being her caregiver to go down to California to enjoy the San Diego Zoo. And
Yes. Oh my goodness. So if people are wondering about, gee, is it time for hospice or should we start thinking about hospice? The answer is absolutely yes. Start thinking about it. Go with hospice as soon as you can so that you can access all these amazing services that you've already paid for, that are already a part of your plan. The great thing about living in this country is we do have programs that support health care for our elderly, and we want to continue to make that the best part of somebody's life, to make sure that that when that time comes and they end up passing, that it is an amazing experience, seconded only to the birth of a loved one. It's really something. And we encourage, if you don't know as much about hospice as you want to, you really need to sit down with us and spend some time talking about it, because we love to share the message.
We want to personally thank all of you for the quality of love and care that you all gave to my mom. Not only the love you gave her, but to all of us. You all are God's angels on earth. You were always there for all of us, anytime there was a need. Your love and quality of care was impeccable. We will forever be grateful.
First Choice Hospice is the best hospice in the world. All the workers were wonderful with my husband. They brought joy to his final days. Thank you.
the care my father was given, in a word, was awesome. The support my family and I received was comforting and exceptional.
My wife's illness and passing was the most difficult experience I hope that I will ever know. The love and compassion of all the First Choice team has made this experience a divine blessing.
First Choice was first class, the most wonderful group. They gave from the heart to my heart and my brother's. We are forever grateful.
I thought the hospice company that cared for my mom was good until I experienced my dad's hospice team. Excellence, professional, thorough, loving, kind, caring, and personable are just a few adjectives I would use to describe this hospice team.
I appreciate everything First Choice has done, not only for my departed loved one, but for me as well.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of the First Choice family and carrying on the legacy of First Choice Hospice. I understand that there are no do-overs at the end of life, so we have to get it right the first time. So please allow us to walk alongside your patient's final journey of life.